Okay, this is from Reddit. South End Beach, 5 years ago, 2020. Why do Scientologists, to this day, still justify and excuse L. Ron Hubbard's exploitation of defenseless children as his absolute servants and literal extensions of his will? Great question. Zabbath 116, because people believe that those kids are spirits that have no age and that body age doesn't matter. Great way to traffic people, isn't it? In fact, young kids who dedicate themselves, listen to that. Doesn't that remind you of when you hear various stories where someone will say child prostitution? What's the difference? Young kids who dedicate themselves, in other words, trafficked, are seen in a higher light. Yeah, servitude. As they were likely past life Scientologists just coming back to finish their jobs. People liked that comment. South End Beach. L. Ron Hubbard, at age 56, in 1967, decided to surround himself with teeny boppers. Young girls, by the way, mostly girls. That's not a problem, right? As his de facto brainwashed slaves. Not likely that they would have been past life Scientologists, as Scientology had only existed for 15 years at that point. Bam! Bam! They would have had to have joined Scientology during the early 1950s and then soon after dropped dead. The mentality that allows parents to surrender their children to a cult leader is disturbing. Even more disturbing is that, to this day, this bad parenting and child abuse is justified, rationalized, and minimized by Scientologists. What else does that sound like, you guys? Narcissism? Revenemus. It is almost inconceivable to imagine a situation where one might consider the infinite universe descriptively and manifest without the idea of lives and lifetimes, somehow involving children. A child's life is one of transition. If we are to consider the infinite theta universe on top of mest, oh, jeez. Our body systems are intricate and amazing. Is this like justifying child abuse? Because it's what it sounds like. Did you know an octopus mother guards her egg until she dies? And then these creatures roam the wild, dangerous universe unprotected. Doesn't it sound like a pedo protector? This sounds like a pedo protector. Go check out... Oh, golly. Trying to remember the name of that video gamer. The whole thing with the young man who was protecting children, and then this multi-billion-dollar child video gamer came after him, and people went off. I can't think of the name right now. It's probably better. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was very similar to this ignoramus statement. You should try talking to one. It might, in fact, blow your mind. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Best, however, is when your kids draw their favorite ones on the walls. That is theta. Isn't that wonderful, you guys? I did not know that this was infiltrated by Scientologists. North Male 8981. They justify it because if they are critical of LRH, then they can be subjected to punishment and expulsion from the church. Isn't that worth it to protect your children? It's a cult, plain and simple. Fish egg mafia, because they don't view children as children. They see children as adults in small bodies. South End Beach. Hubbard did redefine children as someone who cannot hold post in an org. In other words, if a 12-year-old can work at a job, then 12-year-old is no longer a child. Isn't that great? American government signed off on it, allegedly. UK government signed off on it, allegedly. Germans were like, F that. Australian. There were a lot of Australians that stood up against it, and I believe some of those dark, evil reptilians were the ones that would not allow anything to happen in regards to child protection. There was one, I believe one of those dark reptilian senators went up against Xenophon, and what he said was repugnant. To me, it was like threatening Xenophon for wanting to protect children. Where have we seen that? Go check out the video that I just posted from yesterday on Viking Mindset. Check it out. This, along with other bizarre statements by Hubbard about children, opens the door to all sorts of abuse. Facts. You know whom else regularly abuses children and sometimes sacrifices them? Do you guys know? These so-called ancient religions, I like to call all of these various religions Malachians. Some people call them Satanists. It's so much deeper than that. You think they're ever going to protect children? Who do you guys think are pushing the agendas right now? And by the way, it's all about D to the pop to the lay to the shun. One caveat, Hubbard did regard children as blank slates upon which to write. Sounds like MK Ultra, doesn't it? Clay to be molded. It appears that Hubbard knew that children are children and was using these other explanations as justifications. Mary Sue Hubbard was all on board with it too. Mary Sue had children ironing her clothes and waiting on her hand and foot. So I have no respect for her. K-drop, babies are grown-ups. Really disturbing to think. It takes a real sociopath to think that. It does. Which LRH was and needed an excuse to do what he wanted. Guys, it's so much deeper. You think it was an accident that LRH was constantly talking about people think we have ties to the Charlie, to the Igloo, to the Alpha? Think that was a coinkydink? What president was in charge of the Charlie to the Igloo to the Alpha? Look it up. Ravinima says, I'd love to see more of these pictures. The original CMs are fascinating. Commodore's messengers. They're all kids. Plurbear. I was just talking about this. How he trained girls. Girls. I've been screaming this since day one, you guys. In the Sea Org to be his runners. I mean, think about that, you guys. Or whatever he wanted to call it. It is called grooming. Fact. It is. Disgusting. He was a money-hungry POS human who clearly had no intention of helping anyone but himself. As a teacher, I've been researching and trying to see what can be done since they still are active and have children during a pandemic. I said the plan part. And not teaching them life skills, let alone curriculum they need to be independently successful. It's heartbreaking. So Plurbear is a teacher. deleted account said, I've also researched it a bit and I am blown away that these cult members actually have faith and respect for that whack job. He was a narcissistic opportunist who was a pathological liar. Who else is a pathological liar that we've been seeing recently? Since he decided to leave his body to do higher work and has not returned in the specified time frame that he decided to fill his billion-year contract. How are people still believers? The whole concept of Scientology based solely on the writings of one twisted man, allegedly, I don't believe that, is totally and completely insane, just my thoughts. Plurbear, the teacher, says, this is exactly what I said. Left his body. Nah, homies, he died and was sick AF for years. Yeah, he was a drug addict. And died from a stroke. Like, seriously, you all think he just left his body versus stroked out? And yet Miscavige never states that to followers, since that would look so bad. People would start to question why I'm paying hundreds of thousands of dollars if our leader can die of a stroke. And people will continue to follow because they are cut off from society and outside news communication, especially at Gold. Go look at all the levels of security they have at the int base, you guys. You know who's okay with that? Hemet Police is. Isn't that crazy? In fact, what I understand is that the Hemet Police, as well as various LAPD officers, go up there to the int base to eat like amazing meals. Don't you guys wonder if they have child servants serving them? I sure the fuck do. And people will continue to follow because they are cut off from society and outside news communication, especially at Gold. And one of the girls' court cases was thrown out because she needs to go through Scientology aberration. Like, seriously? Oh no, it's called something else. What is it called, you guys? She got aberration mixed up. That's okay, I do it all the time. That is BS. This girl had to escape Gold in an actor's trunk to get out and work with DM closely. Who else worked with DM? Who else worked with DM, you guys? And just recently denied her case. Arbitration, that's what she meant. I wish we could do more, but they have so much money just waiting to use on people like us who are trying to save the people from a Jim Jones situation. And then buying up Clearwater. Like, how has the government not stepped in? Yeah, don't you guys fucking wonder that? I can't go in deep what I think, but none of this is a coincidence. How has the government not stepped in and said, okay, enough is enough? You remember how much L. Ron Hubbard revered Aleister Crowley? And I just heard some stories. I have to check into it. But the word on the curb is that L. Ron Hubbard was big buddies with Michael Aquino. If you guys know who Michael Aquino is, I might do a video. It'll probably stay at 0, but, you know, just for fun, I might. Like, how is it going to... Okay, Enough is enough. GTFO. Here with your fake-ass religion who wrote the books for money and they republish the same books to make the members pay. That's what the colleges do. It's sickening. They exploit people and harass them until they give up or back down. If I win the lotto and it's millions, I will take them down. I love her passion. I really do. And we saw how that woman at the Scientology org just was totally fine with a 12-year-old walking in to get recruited. The fuck's wrong with these people? Plurbear. Oh, I love this passion. Wait, let's see what replies were to that first one. Oh, excellent. Deleted says, and I will help. Not to mention when their members go to the mandatory events, they spew incorrect statistics, facts, to make it seem like they're actually doing something, when they're completely not doing anything in the world. And they buy buildings to try to prove they are expanding. But in reality, they have to in order to show expansion. Plus, they cannot profit. But they clearly are if they hire PIs and blackmail people. Yeah, all that money is made from slave labor, especially of children. Love and truth matter. Can they be reported to police? They own the police. To be rated, if anyone knows. Plurbear. They have been. That's how they lost their tax exemption status. Other countries have named them as a dangerous cult and banned their religion, but it's not a religion. I am not sure with all the evidence how the government hasn't stepped in. That's why you got to go research some more. You got to go research some more. Who do you guys think created these mind control programs? Especially given there are children involved who are helpless. They are still on the streets handing out their BS during a pandemic. I said plan. And inviting people into Big Blue. It's terrible. You guys go check out, I forgot what year this was, maybe 10 years ago. Maybe 12, 15, I don't know. How the government, I believe it was the FBI, raided this Mormon compound in Texas. You guys, what was going on there? Woo! I believe it was satanic. I do believe a lot of those officers and the people involved were trying to help. But in the end, they delivered the kids right back to it. And there's a lot to it, but just go check that out. Love and Truth says terrible stuff. Okay, this should be good. I'm a Scientologist. I don't know if I want to, I'm just so sick of this. I'm going to read it, you guys, but I might lose my freaking cool. I didn't know Ravinimus was a Scientologist. She might be public. I'm a Scientologist and my kids have immense amounts of free will. She's probably a public. But of course, I'm not attempting to maintain a boatload of people and their families while building the bridge across the planet's oceans. Just for the record, I don't think the messengers that I've known for almost 50 years now, well, that tells you everything, were necessarily mistreated. Oh, what about the 5-year-old and the 6-year-old that I just heard about in the Commodore's Messenger book that Janice wrote? The 5-year-old little girl that was essayed? And Scientology did nothing? Or wait, better yet, about a year later, a 6-year-old got essayed as well. And you know what the parents did instead of protecting the child? They told her it was her fault, that she pulled it in. Don't get me started, because I'm going to go off. I'm feeling like I'm going to go off. These are the people that these young Scientologists talk about. And it's not just age. A lot of it does, unfortunately, have to be age, but it's just the mentality. I think it's a narcissistic way to be in trying to invalidate all this abuse. And how can she even talk about it if she wasn't on that frickin' Apollo? And I'm getting almost finished with Commodore's Messenger. I'm going to read some of it online in time. I won't be so content with judging others for their experiences, as it kind of is not really going to produce case gain anyway. That just means, it's not going to help anything. Children raped and all that, no big deal. No problem when the children get raped or put in the chain locker or thrown overboard. Happy to discuss the cases where it really went awry. Via Black Scientology. She's talking about black PR. But I'd be even more interested in acknowledging the fact that there were SO members with quite healthy family dynamics too. Right. Please show them to me. Please show them to me. The subject of child slavery is highly inflammatory. Fuck off. I'll be honest. I've seen some SO parents who were very definitely out ethics on their duties. That means they weren't being parents like they should. This is just so, like, the fact that she can even type this is unreal. In responsibilities for the state of their children. But in the CMOs around the world today, I know for sure there are great families where the children are well fed, sent to schools, educated in an ethical way. I only wish this were more widely acknowledged because it's true. Right, sure. Right. Imagine the mentality, you guys, that she's defending. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys know, are Commodore's messengers still a thing in Scientology? I mean, I guess sometimes I'm naive. I guess it would still be going on, even though L. Ron Hubbard's not alive anymore. The fact that she would even defend that is just, what do you say? I don't know what she's talking about. She says they were on the RPF. Of course, she's the only one who liked her own post. Spectacular Bird 1. How can it be anything except child slavery when a 16-year-old, exactly, is being pressured to sign a billion-year contract? They work full-time, barely get paid. Yeah, I would say read the Commodore's Messenger. It's actually a very good book. And have no say in the type of work they do or where they are sent. At the very least, it's indentured servitude, since they are threatened with a freeloader's bill if they try to leave. And that's if you can even accept that. 16-year-old is capable of comprehending and consenting to a billion-year contract. And we're not even talking about the child brides. I mean, like, it never ends. And this is my opinion. It's free to have an opinion. It's my opinion. It's my opinion that child brides or child marriage takes away consent, whether the young girl knows it or not, and it gives the man a right to rape the woman, or the young girl, I should say. And sometimes it's reverse. Sometimes it's an older woman marrying a young boy. It's sick all around. Not to mention how they steal passports. I mean, like, we could go on for hours. You're not going to talk sense to these fools. And maybe this woman had the same job that Tori did. DFW Punk. Try 14, maybe even 12. Facts. Or what about Kelly Copter? Wasn't Kelly Copter deemed a suppressive person at 6 years old? Oh my God, I could just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Lost. And also, too, they never address what the ex-Scientologists are talking about. They never do. Ravinimus, I've signed a billion-year contract and I'm not a slave. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Not as long as you think, by the way. And coming from a parent's perspective, they don't stay 16 years old for long. Nobody liked that, by the way. Oh, somebody's going to go in. Trying not to say too many F-bombs, just trying to be decent, but it's just annoying. Spectacular says, not as long as you think, by the way. I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. Are you saying that you are not a slave because you have free thought? Or are you saying that a billion years is not a law as long as I think it is? And coming from a parent's perspective, they don't stay 16 years old for long. What is that supposed to mean? Gaslight much? Wow, I am so utterly disgusted by this statement. Just because a baby will not always remain a baby doesn't mean they shouldn't be cared for the way a baby needs to be cared for. Biologically, a 16-year-old's brain is still developing. They literally do not have the capacity to logic and reason at 16. That, given the proper education and environment, they will have 25. United objective. You need some fucking help, dude. So I don't know if that person is a man or a woman, but it's unreal. You see the sarcasm? I think the more narcissistic, abusive types just freaking eat this up. They make me sick. They are the ones who like the little 5 or 6-year-olds to do their fucking laundry all weekend. Or to do reno on Saturdays. You see the sarcasm? But it's like a sarcasm that's really twisted. Ravinimus, what is it you'd like to help me with? This is a trick question. Of course, he liked his own post. United objective. I wish I could help you see that your religion is poison and needs to be removed from the world for the betterment of the human race. Just like a lot of other religions, but definitely Scientology is near the top with that. Jihad, Jehovah's Witnesses. Who do you guys think creates all this stuff? And the Westboro Baptist Church. It's also hilarious to me and the rest of the world that anyone would follow a religion written by a science fiction writer who said Xeno exterminated tons of aliens by dropping them into volcanoes and blowing them up with HBOMBS, laughing my ass off, and that these secrets cost thousands of dollars. Okay, you guys, that's it for now. I'm going to leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.